Why hello. So today I'm going to be doing a highly anticipated video, at least on my part, because this is a video that I have been wanting to do since I started BookTube. So yes, that's 2 years. You guys can clearly see how punctual I am and how I just fail at booktubing in general, but I finally got to the point where I was just like, okay, I have got to do this video. I love watching these videos, and without further ado, I'm going to tell you what this video is. This is going to be a video where I share with you guys all of the books that I haven't read. Some of them are classics, some of them are bestsellers, most of them are books that have become popular from BookTube, and I couldn't keep these books on my shelf any longer without showcasing them because I really want to get your guys' input on it. I want to know, are these books as good as everyone says they are? Do they need to go on my TBR immediately, etc., etc. So the order that I'm going to be talking about these books in is order of publication, so it's going to go from the books that we've been hearing about so much lately down to books that, holy crap, I've never read. I'm being very vulnerable right now. I'm opening myself up to you guys and I'm trusting you here. Nah, I really don't care. Go ahead and yell at me in the comments because I deserve it. So the first book that I have not yet read is The Martian by Andy Weir. This came out in late 2014, and within like a couple months of its publication, I think the movie rights were purchased, and then the movie came out at the end of 2015 with Matt Damon. It's a huge Oscar contender. Basically, if your book has been turned into a movie within like less than a year of its publication, you are the shit. And I need to read this book because it clearly is just that. The next book that I haven't read is Fangirl by Rowell. I know what you guys are thinking. Holy crap, you haven't read Fangirl. I think it came out like 2 years ago, and it was a book that I pre-ordered because I wanted to read it immediately, and I didn't. And everybody else did, but I didn't. I know it's about a girl who's a bit of a loner and she spends her time writing fan fiction. And I'm a bit of a loner and I spend my time writing fan fiction. So this is like my story and I don't know why I haven't read it. So I'm going to. The next book is a book that you guys are all gonna be freaking out about. I can feel it right now. I can feel it coming in to me from your viewing eyes. But it's Allegiant by Veronica Roth, the third and final book in the Divergent series. I never read this. I read the first two. I enjoyed them. I've seen the first two movies. I went so long without being spoiled for it, and then I finally was, and I guess it was kind of my own fault because there are assholes out there that are not going to respect the no spoiler situation on BookTube, but I was spoiled for it. I don't have a huge desire to read it. I may or may not at this point in my life. I don't know. Obviously lots of people hated the ending, and I don't know if I would hate it or not hate it. I just feel like I've lost the desire to even kind of care about this trilogy. But if you guys think that I need to like shut my mouth and I need to be getting on this, let me know in the comments. The next book that I have not yet read is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. This is a book that every person in existence basically in 2012 was highly anticipating, and even though nothing is ever going to be as good as Harry Potter, whether it's written by J.K. Rowling or not, I wanted to read it. I picked it up immediately and I haven't read it, and it's been almost 4 years now, so that is a shame. Haven't read it, but I want to, and I'm going to at some point in my life. And I'd really love to know if you guys enjoyed this one, because again, there's so many mixed things on BookTube about it, and I just like to hear some positive things. Am I still recording? Bitch, I better still be recording. Whew. If I sound out of breath, it's because I've had the flu for the past week and I'm just now recovering. So sorry if I'm like really nasally and like raspy. It's not my fault. I work at a school, okay? The next book that I have not yet read is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This book came out a few years ago. It was one of the first books that I purchased on recommendation from BookTube. And I did read about a third of it and I loved what I read, but I put it down and I just forgot about it. And lately I've been seeing it crop up a lot on people's TBRs and such. So it really just made me think, you loved the book when you were reading it. Go back to it, you fool. I want to read this. I want to read Ernest Cline's new book, Armada, I think it's called. I want to read both of those, but I obviously want to read this one first because if I can, I really enjoy reading authors' work in publication order. So yeah, I really do want to read this. I think it's been opted for a movie, I think. Oh, that was suave. I love myself. Obviously want to read it before I see it. So everyone just go ahead and scream right now because I know you're gonna be like screaming internally as you watch the next 10 seconds of this video, so just go ahead, let it out. I'll wait. It's cool. I'll wait. It is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Never read it. Never read it. This, in fact, came out when I was 13 or 14. And I remember I was volunteering at my local library and I was shelving books because that was the bitch work that I had to do. And I remember seeing this book and just being fascinated by it, just seeing the cover, The Book Thief. Oh, that sounds so cool. And I never even read what it was about. I never picked it up, but I was always just intrigued by it, yet I never read it. Stupid 13-year-old Penelope. And then I picked it up a few years ago when I started watching BookTube, and just everyone had read it and this was one of their favorite books. So I was like, okay, pick it up. Finally, it's your opportunity to do that thing. So I did, but I haven't yet read it. I've let 3 people borrow it, so that's why it does look like it has been read, but I haven't read it. I've even said to them that I've read it and recommended it to them because I feel like you can't recommend a book if you haven't read it, so I lied basically, which is awful, but what are you gonna do? The next book that I haven't read is The Shining by Stephen King. If you guys have watched my channel, you guys know that I'm a huge horror. I'm a huge horror. No, I am a huge lover of horror as a genre in books, as a genre in movies. I love watching scary things and I really enjoy Stephen King. I've read 2 of his books, being Carrie and the one that takes place in a theme park that I can't think of what it's called, but I'll put a picture right here. I mean, Stephen King has written so many books, but I think that The Shining is probably what he is most known for. And I haven't read it and I've seen the movie. I watched the movie in its entirety last year, I think it was, with my sister. And we both really enjoyed it. It was incredibly creepy and I need to read the book because if the movie creeped me out, and it takes a lot to creep me out, then the book is obviously going to be creeping me out even more, and I need that in my life. The next book that I have not yet read is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I watched the movie adaptation with Mia right here. I never say her name right, so I'm not even gonna try. And Michael Fassbender. I watched that years ago when it first came out, and I recently rewatched it. I just had much more of appreciation for it. The language and the dialogue and the, the feminism that is in this book that is so present, the themes of equality, everything like that, that I wasn't blind to before, but it just really kind of stood out to me this time. And I know that this is one of the first books in literature that really has those themes. That's one of the reasons why it's a classic. So I was watching the movie adaptation a couple of weeks ago, and Mr. Rochester had Jane, and he was like clutching her tiny corseted waist, and he was like, I want your spirit. And she's all, oh dear God, why? And I was just like, done. I needed that. After that scene, I was like, okay, I need to read this so bad because damn. And I know that Mr. Rochester is supposed to be ugly and not Michael Fassbender at all, but I don't care. That is a huge part of why I want to read this book. I'm not gonna lie to you. But the themes are a huge part as well. It's not just for the eye candy. I'm not that shallow most of the time. The final book that I have not yet read is another classic, and it is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. In fact, I haven't read a single Jane Austen book, so all you people that are freaking out, freak out even more now because I haven't read any of them. I've seen the movie adaptation, I know all about it, I have memorabilia about the story, but I've never read it, so I need to do so immediately. I don't know what has been pushing me off. I've wanted to read it ever since I watched You've Got Mail with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, and she's talking about Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, and I don't know why I never have, because I'm dumb, basically, but I want to. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. In the comments below, I would love for you guys to let me know if you have read these books. And I'd also like for you to tell me one reason why I should read them immediately, because this is going to help me set up my TBRs over the next few months and throughout the rest of the year. And I want to know your reasoning behind why you love this book so much and why you think that I would. I'd also love to know if you guys have not read any of these books to help make me feel a little less pathetic, and also leave some books that are really well known that you've never read, because maybe I've read some of those and maybe it will help me feel like less of a loser. Probably not, but maybe. Alright guys, so that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.